In this video, I want to show you how to solve quadratic simultaneous equations, right? And I will take you through these few steps. Right, the first step is to make one unknown the subject in any of the original equations. Right, then the next step is to substitute the expression for the unknown in step 1 into the other equation. The next step is to simplify both sides of the equation in step 2. Then solve the equation in step 3 for the involved unknown. That is, equation in step 3 will be an equation in terms of a single unknown. Right. Then the last step is to substitute the root or roots found in step 4 in any of the original equations to find the corresponding value or values of the other unknown. So I encourage you to use the original equations so that you won't make mistakes or you won't lose marks after using wrongly formulated equations. Right, so in this case, when we are solving quadratic simultaneous equations, that's always the case that we use the substitution method. That's the easiest. That's not always the case, but that's the easiest method that we can use. The substitution method. We can't easily use the elimination or any other methods, so we can easily use the substitution method. All right, so let's move on to our first example. So we are going to take this one as our first example. Right, x is equal to y minus 1 and x squared plus y squared is equal to 13. Right, in this case, this x in equation 1 is already the subject of the formula. So step 1 was already done for us. So we are going to start from step 2, where we are substituting y minus 1 for x, but we'll be substituting this in equation 2. This y minus 1 will be substituting it here. Right, for x we won't be writing x because x is exactly the same as y minus 1. So we are saying we are going to rewrite equation 2 but in terms of y only, like this. Right, the whole of this one in the brackets here, y minus 1 is x, so it's x squared plus y squared, which is equal to 13. Let's remove the brackets here and simplify. Right, let's simplify this one. Y plus y squared plus y squared, we get 2y squared minus 2y. Then taking 13 to the left hand side, it will give us minus 12 after subtracting that 13 from 1. Right, now let's solve. We can reduce this equation. We can reduce by 2, can divide throughout by 2. Right, and we find y squared minus y minus 6 is equal to 0. And if we factorize this one, the factors are minus 3 and plus 2. So the factors are minus 3y and 2y. So if we factorize this one, we find y plus 2 factor of y minus 3. Right, let's solve for y. Y is equal to 3 or minus 2. Right, done with y. We now have the values of y. Now we want to find, we are now moving on to the last step, step number 5. Step number 5, where we are substituting the values of y into any of the equations to find the corresponding values of x. Right, so when y is equal to 3, I am going to use this equation. I'm going to use this equation to find the corresponding values of x. So I'm saying when y is 3, I will substitute 3 for y here. So it will be x is equals to 3 minus 1, which is 2, like this. So x is equals to 2 when y is equals to 3. What about when y is equals to minus 2? When y is equals to minus 2, I'm going to use the same equation. So I will be substituting minus 2 here, and if I substitute minus 2 here, it will be minus 2 minus 1, which is minus 3. So when y is minus 2, x is minus 3. So I can write this in coordinate form. I can write this in this form. Right, this simply means the first value is the value of x, the second value is the value of y. So we are saying when x is 2 here, y is 3. So we are saying when x is 2, y is 3. When x is minus 3 here, y is minus 2. So we are saying when x is minus 3, y is minus 2. As simple as this, we have solved the simultaneous equations. Right, let's move on to our second example. We have this one. In this case, we don't have one unknown as the subject, so it is very easy to make this x the subject of the formula by simply taking this 2y to the other side. So let's take this 2y to the right hand side, where it will be subtracting from 5, right, like this. So x is equals to 5 minus 2y. Right, this one is exactly the same as this equation. So we are going to substitute for x, we are going to substitute 5 minus 2y in this equation, like this. Right, so it will be 2 factor of 5 minus 2y minus y. Instead of this x, we are now substituting 5 minus 2y, and this is equal to 3. Right, then from there we can now remove brackets and simplify like this. If we remove the brackets and simplify, we find out that 2y squared minus 9y plus 7 is equals to 0. Then let's now factorize this one, and the factors are minus 2 minus 9. So if we factorize this one, we find y minus 1 factor of 2y minus 7 is equals to 0. And if we solve for y, we find out that y is equals to 1 or 3.5, like this. Now that we have the values of y, we can now use them to find the corresponding values of x, right, like this. When y is 3.5, I am going to use this equation, x is equals to 5 minus 2y. So when y is equals to 3.5, I will substitute 3.5 for y here. So it will be 5 minus 2 by 3.5, and this simplifies to 5 minus 7, which is minus 2. So when y is 3.5, x is equals to minus 2, right? I will use the same equation to find the corresponding value of x when y is equal to 1. So I'll be substituting 1 here, so it will be 5 minus 2 by 1, which is 3. So the corresponding value of x when y is 1 is 3. Right, now that we have the values of x and y, we can now write this in coordinate form like this. When x is minus 2, y is 3.5. When x is 3, y is 1, like this. Right, so here's your exercise. And here are the answers. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos.